I'm Randall for Farmington Famous, and today we are in Clarksville, Florida, and I'm here with my friend Marty. I met Marty about a year or so ago at a homesteading event that we had, and ever since I've been coming over here and getting to know Marty. And Marty has recently gotten into the nursery business, and he's got a nursery business take that nobody else is doing, or I have never seen anywhere else. But first we're going to get to know Marty a little bit, and then we're going to go into what Marty has to offer as far as his nursery. Well, Marty, it's been a very active last year or two for you.
Oh,
You've opened a nursery, and now you are just loaded, and you're telling me that your business is doing very well. What got you into the nursery business?
I wanted people to grow things that way they'd be able to feed themselves and to feed their neighbors. I grow all exclusively things that are beneficial and edible mostly. I do sell some bamboos that have other uses, but they're all highly useful bamboos. It's basically our goal is to get lots of fruit trees out. I think over the last year we've got over 10,000 fruit trees out. So
wow, over 10,000 fruit trees in 1 year.
Yeah,
now
about a year and a half.
Now I kind of alluded to it at the beginning right there, but you do something that nobody else does, and that you have what they call a package deal. Tell us a little bit about your package deal that you do.
I do a lot nobody does. If you want a package, we have several different types of packages. We'll come to your house, we'll install it, we'll give you an assessment, we'll do a soil profile, we'll come to your property, we'll put the trees in the ground, we'll amend the soil. If you want, we'll put irrigation on it, and we have over 100 different varieties of things to pick that grow specifically in our area. And then if you're a collector and you do container cultures, we also have a lot of cool stuff like mangoes or sopodillas or different things like that.
So you're into some tropicals, some subtropicals, and even into a little bit of the stuff that grows a little north of you too.
Oh yeah.
So you got some apples here. You generally don't see apples growing in Florida very much, but you got some really nice looking apples. We mainly push 3 varieties. We use the University of Florida's research as to the varieties that are good for commercial production. You go to their website and it'll recommend Anna, Einsheimer, and Golden Dorset. Anna and Einsheimer are both the Israeli varieties, and Golden Dorset was from the University of Georgia. And all 3 of them are winners here. We get the right amount of chill hours. Everything's grafted on M111 rootstock, so if you have a clay soil, these apples will grow great on it. I had one customer that I put in a orchard or an olive grove for him, but he had one Einsheimer that had about 1,200 pounds of fruit on it this year. Just mass wheelbarrows and wheelbarrows and wheelbarrows. Was that on the M111 rootstock?
It's all on M111.
Wow, that's amazing. I wish my apple tree would put out that much. Well, apples.
Yeah, but we have peaches and pears. One of the cool things about our nursery here on location is our long-term goal is to where people could come out and taste the fruit off the tree, and if they like it, if they enjoy it, they can come buy the plant. This year it came online for the blueberries and the peaches, and it was wonderful. We had 2 different varieties of peaches that were both 4 years old this year. It was Sam Houston and Florida King. And both of them, they were not on irrigation, so the fruit got really sweet, but they had like 500 pieces of fruit on each tree.
Wow.
So it was great. The people would come out and they would eat the piece of fruit and they would love it. And then they would come straight over here and they'd buy your sales, doesn't it? Yeah, that's the idea. So, it speaks for itself. Like, this is good stuff and it grows great here. I don't do anything with this. Come get my stuff. But the concept was so great this year that the trees, they all had this ring of pits around it from where people would eat this. And then they spit the pit out. It was wonderful.
Michelle and I last year, we went up to Virginia to Edible Landscaping, and he has all his stuff planted out in an orchard, and you can walk and sample and then go by.
That's cool.
And we had never had hardy kiwi, the little kiwi berries before. And Michelle tasted one that was a little shriveled up on when she put it in her mouth, it was like candy.
Nice.
And that convinced her right there that we needed to have kiwis in our orchard. So it works. It works to sell. But you're talking about a package deal. What's the smallest size package deal that you offer, and how does that work?
Usually it's 15 trees. We stick with that number because my wife has designed a package that we can come and put in your ground in our area, and you can get fruit year-round. So anytime you walk out of your front door, it's middle of August, you got figs.
All right, now you talked about your little small package deal of 15 trees. What does that look like? What comes and how much do you charge for a 15 tree package?
Usually it runs different prices. It goes by the size trees you get. If we had the opening packages is like in 5-gallon containers like those,
Okay.
And it runs about $9.75. And then if you start getting larger trees, those trees are more expensive. There's a lot more to deal with, but they're not a lot more expensive. All these packages are really affordable. So
That is really affordable.
we mainly, and we do also like some other things like weeping willows or something. If like a memorial tree.
I see you got some vining plants too, so you got
Oh yeah.
some stuff that can go up on a trellis if anybody wanted trellis style fruits.
The kiwis will go on a trellis, and the purple possum passion fruit will go on the trellis.
Okay, great.
So, and I've got lots of them, and they're fun. They're a fun one to have. So they'll produce fruit really quick. Even right there in the little pot, they'll produce pieces of fruit. So
Okay, so what's the largest size package that you've ever done?
240 trees.
240 trees, that's really good.
I'm
Now-
also encouraging local governments to put fruit trees in instead of bougainvilleas at the park. Because I tell you, it's nice to go out and eat a fig off of a tree. We may have, knock on wood, secured a couple deals to do just that.
That's great.
So when you go out to the park with your family, you'll have an apple to pick. Or
Yeah, that's something that I want to do in my hometown. I'm not there yet. I got to build up to that, but I'd like to have more edibles in our area too.
There's a fig guy on TV. I think it's Ari Fleischman. That might be his name. Obviously, I can't remember his name, but he was from Tel Aviv. And what he did was he went to the Chamber of Commerce over there, and he convinced them to start planting figs around and all these other different fruit trees. But he was a fig guy. He's a big fig guy. He's got some cool trees. But he convinced the Tel Aviv government to do that. So now when you go out over there, you got fruit trees everywhere, and it's free to everybody.
When I was in Spain, you walk down the sidewalks of Spain, it's all citrus trees.
That's
and
cool.
you can just reach up and eat citrus right on the city streets.
Italy's got some spots like that too. They got lemons planted everywhere and oranges planted.
I messed up one time when I was in Italy. They had olive trees growing, and I picked an olive not knowing, never eat an olive off the tree. It's horrible.
Yeah, we have the olive trees right here. I put that in 3 months after Hurricane Michael, so it was about 3.5 years ago.
Wow.
And it was about knee high when I put it in. I did not take care of it at all, and that thing's grown that size. I'll get fruit off of it next year. So.
Okay, Marty, you're also doing some bamboo as far as privacy hedging. Can you tell me a little bit more about what you offer as far as bamboo?
Yes, we put in irrigation. Usually a lot of our customers will like us to put in irrigation on the bamboo if they're doing a hedge just because it's a straight shot. But we have 8 or 9 different varieties of bamboo that we put in for people that are all clumping bamboo, which means they're not going to run 15 feet and jump up.
That's the scary part that people don't want to mess with bamboo is the running varieties.
The running varieties. Well, and the bamboo that I have too, they're gorgeous. If you ever go to Epcot Center or Walt Disney World, it's that type of bamboo. They look very tropically. They do really good in our soil. They grow like a weed. 5-6 years, your bamboo is 60, 70 feet tall. In some of these varieties, and we'll be doing. If you want ones that are just for like a centerpiece, we have ones called Tropical Blue Chungi, and they're just gorgeous. They put out these nice big canes. They get like 80 feet tall. Well, 60 feet tall, something like that. And they had this blue hue to them.
Oh,
it was
really
one
pretty.
of the first. It almost has a magnetic field to the plant. If you've ever stood in front of a skyscraper, it has that draw to it, how it'll draw you into it. That plant's similar to it. It's got a really cool energy. It's beautiful. That's the one that inspired me to put in so much bamboo to kind of get them out there.
Wow, I had to check that out.
Yeah, they're cool. They there's a couple. There's a lady, Atia, on YouTube that has a couple videos on them. She's got some nice, beautiful.
I'll have to check that out.
So. But a lot of them, they grow straight up and clumping. I got ones that branch out at the bottom, so you can't see and they'll block out the light. And I've made some really beautiful projects with bamboo and made some really ugly things go away instantly. So
Tell me real quick the 5 varieties of bamboo that you're offering.
graceful, Buddha's belly, giant Buddha's belly, yin yang, old hammy-eye. We also do different types of phylostachyes for people that are interested in building a bamboo forest, which those are running varieties. So I break people down the difference between the two. All the first ones I mentioned, you put them in the ground, they stay put. They don't go anywhere. They have a footprint on the ground of maybe 5 or 6 feet, but they have an aerial footprint of hundreds and hundreds of feet, thousands. They'll give you a lot of shade, and they'll dry up a spot if you have a spot that needs dried up, and give you a useful product that you and your kids can play with.
That's great. Now, Marty, you're also a big banana guy. You like to collect in banana varieties. What's some of the varieties that you offer?
The varieties that I try to get out there for are Kokopo and Viente Coho. Dwarf Namwa is also really good. The cool thing about Viente Coho and Kokopo is they're considered short cycle bananas, which means from the time they produce the heart to the time you harvest, it's about 90 days.
That's great.
Versus like if you go to a store and you get a Cavendish, if you go to like Walmart, they'll sell you these Cavendishes. Those Cavendishes, they take like 160 days from the time the heart comes out to the time they produce fruit, which means if you don't get a heart before like very early July, you're not eating fruit that year.
Right.
These varieties right here, I can get a heart in September, and I'll harvest dessert bananas off them.
That's Kokopo, right?
These are Kokopos. These were so fast growing. They were about, one of them was about this size in August when I put it in of last year, and it's September.
That's a little pup.
Yeah, it's September of 23. It's October.
It's October 23
it's October 23 now. And I've got fruit off this and a lot of pups. They say on these, if they're 3 foot tall in spring, when you put them in, you'll get fruit that same year. As long as you take care of it, feed it.
As long as you water it.
You gotta water
I
it.
haven't watered mine this year, but it's been struggling. But
I find it very cathartic to go out there with the garden hose and just use that time to calm down and unwind, and then just kind of, you know.
yeah.
It's for me, it's good. I'm so confident in these bananas that I've got several different varieties. I've got ice cream, blue Java, the real blue Java. I got the Namwa, the dwarf Namwa. I've got the Orinoco, the Kokopos, the Viente Cojos. I've got praying hands. If you want to pray that you'll get a praying hands are really cool because they're mended together. So those are a fun one. Some of them, like those, you won't get those as commonly because you have to have a real mild winter to get
right.
those.
Yeah, grow those in a protected environment. So I noticed that you got some growing in your greenhouse in there. So I'm also going to show everybody at home some of those trees that you got in there.
The purpose of our greenhouse is I'll put the bananas in there, and then I'll identify them botanically to make sure I have exactly the variety, and I'll document it, take pictures of whatever I have to do to make sure I got the exact variety of banana that I'll be selling in the future. Then I bring them out, I go through a transition process.
One of the most frustrating things as a fruit collector is being sold the wrong identified plant. So,
amen. Amen to that.
All right, Marty, you're about to tell us what you're growing in the greenhouse. What varieties are you growing out in your greenhouse? You said that's a test for you?
Yeah.
Make sure you have proven varieties?
Yes, I put whatever I can in the greenhouse and botanically identify it just to make sure I have, okay, this is a Kokopo, for sure Kokopo, this is a Namwa, this is an ice cream, you know, and I just take apart every part of the plant just to make sure I have exactly what it's supposed to be, do all the measurements, do all that, and then we go through a process, put them outside. Eventually, I've got about 100 bananas in the ground now to where people will be able to come over, and when they want a large pseudostem, instead of buying a banana in a little pot, they can get a giant pseudostem off me and take it home. And it's up here, if your pseudostem is nice and thick, it'll get through the winter days a lot easier. The cold days, and as long as the very middle of that plant doesn't freeze, it'll start shooting out leaves after the cold's over with, and it'll just continue the process.
Yeah, if you can protect that pseudostem, that's how you get bananas.
Yeah, and the varieties that I'm so confident in the Kokopos and the Viente Cojos and the a few other varieties that I plant them outside in total no protection at all.
Now, how cold did you get this past winter when we had that really hard freeze?
17 and a half.
17 and a half, and they all did good.
I have all my ice cream bananas. They went through the freeze, no problem.
Wow.
My Viente Cojos went through no problem. All the ones I grow are great big, nice thick stem varieties.
What zone are you in here?
It's technically 8B, but
8B? I'm in 8B also.
Whatever. But I got a computer inside that'll control The valves, they'll open and close like every 15 minutes for like 5 seconds.
Yeah, I'm set up like that too.
I use a lot of shading too. I'll probably go around 70% shade or whatever on the whole thing. You gotta keep one side totally open. There's a good shot right here of the miracle berries. It's color.
What is this?
That is
If I hadn't asked you to told
it's a
me.
Venti coho. Yeah.
Venti coho?
Yeah, I need to get it out of
That's
here.
one of those short cycle ones, isn't it?
Yep. I need to get all these out of here actually, because and this one is a Venti coho. I just threw it in the ground. This one right here is a dwarf Orinoco, and the one beside that is it's called a Rajapuri. That banana will only get maybe 1 or 2 more leaves on it, and it'll produce a rack of fruit. That little one right there.
This little one right here?
Yeah. So these are real cool.
What is this?
It's called the Rajapuri, but they don't puff very prolific.
Okay.
Extremely hard to find.
Really?
So they're a real good one, but
Are they a short cycle one?
no, they're a long cycle one. It's just a great banana.
Uh-huh.
They have a different. They didn't have a different. Normally these
Come on down, yeah.
and they're naked, but those have like all these male pseudostems or all these male flowers all over them. It gives it like a fluffy look.
What is this?
That's a cocoa.
Wow.
This is one of the.
And you'll definitely get those bananas.
Yeah, this will be the second rack I've got off here.
And this is blue Java.
No, that's the dwarf Namwa.
Now, that's it.
I've got I'm propagating a lot of these out and getting them out in the field, but I've got a lot of ice creams out there too, the genuine blue Java. I've got those out. And I've got mangoes. Some of the stuff, frozen coffee.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah, they'll get massive. We got Glen and it's all summer mango. But these right here, I'm stoked about these. I'll probably put 2 of them in the ground for me, but I might end up selling one of them. They're cold hardy to 15 degrees after they've
What is this?
they're a couple years old. Cherry of the Rio Grande.
Okay.
They're great tasting too, and they grow from seeds. So, like one of these trees, they're so prolific. I'll probably have 500 pieces of fruit on it.
Wow.
And you can plant every single one of those. But you got to take care of them the first couple years till you get some good lignified wood, and then they're off on their own.
And they're cold hardy after that?
Mm-hmm.
Or you have to keep them in the greenhouse?
They're cold hardy. They're down to 15 degrees. So
Wow.
actually, I thought that I had to keep them in pots. That's why I didn't put it in the ground this year. I would have put them in the ground this year if I'd known that. But these are going to be really, really big inside these pots. They're great tasting. I like cherries.
Yeah. So,
But you can grow, you know, the University of Georgia did a research program about growing the Venti cohos up in northern Georgia.
Yeah,
They're
I heard about
solid
that.
producers. So
yeah, and I'm not growing that one. I'm growing the Kokopo,
Mm-hmm.
but I would like to get one of those eventually and add to my collection.
yeah,
See how they do.
I think I like the Kokopo better out of the two. Just they just produce fast. They're like dying
Really?
to give you fruit. So
Okay, well maybe I'll just stick with the Kokopo then
They're
until I
cool.
get some bananas and then expand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we've got lots of them. So I've got Orinocos too. Those are real solid in our area. They get big, or they
Okay.
get thick, but they're dwarfs, so they don't get over 7 or 8 feet.
Okay.
So.
All right, now we've changed our location. We're right out in front of all these passion fruit that Marty is growing. Look at this big mound of passion fruit. And you've even got one growing right here. Look at that. Might search around in there in a little bit and see if we can find one right.
I want to find a ripe one.
But you're also growing some stuff in culture. What are you growing?
We do a lot of container culture type stuff. For example, pineapples will grow great here.
Those are some great looking
Yeah, I've
pineapples.
got pineapples with fruit on them, and when you grow a pineapple at home, you can wait till it gets a nice fermenty type smell before you harvest it. It's night and day. We grow a lot of different things in containers that don't grow in this zone, but that's, collectors, people will like to grow their own mangoes or soursop or Anything like that. I make trips down south a lot, and I pick up lots of cool stuff. So a lot of people come to me for everything.
Yeah.
I got wax jambu in there. I've got sopadias. I've got star apples.
Now, how do you grow in sopadias up in Zone 8B?
You got to keep them warm in the winter.
Are you growing them in the greenhouse and keeping them that way?
Yeah, you have to take care. All that stuff you have to take care of. But
You
all
hear
the
that,
stuff
Michelle? We're getting a greenhouse.
Yeah.
We're going to get some of those sopadias.
Oh, they're nice. They're so good. Yeah.
And starfruit.
But
Starfruit.
everything we install, though, that's stuff that's for the zone strictly. I don't install like a mango up here because it's going to die when it gets to 32 degrees.
You had to keep a mango in a pot. And but really, Carrie is only really the one that you can grow here because it stays small.
We went on a mango judging event down in Fort Myers last year. And we tasted like 51 different varieties of mangoes.
Wow.
And we got this variety called M4, which is like coconut cream.
Oh.
You bite into it and it tastes like just coconut flavors just been infused. It tastes great. It's
That sounds
fiberless,
wonderful.
it melts in your mouth. It's kind of one of them sticky fruits. It's going to get all over your face when you eat it.
I definitely want to go down there on one of those tours.
It's cool. It's worth it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they got hit by the hurricane last year, so.
Yeah, but we're still going to make it down there one day. We've talked about it, so we'll get out and do that.
Yeah.
All right, guys, hope you enjoyed the video with Marty. And if you're in the area, come down and see him. He's at Schuckleberry Farms and Nursery, and you can look him up, and Google Maps will bring you right to his place. And if you are in the area that he services, look into getting one of his package deals. He'll come out, he'll do the soil test, he'll install the plant, he'll install irrigation if you need the irrigation. It is an incredible deal. And I've really enjoyed the tour and getting to know you a little bit more.
Thank you.
All right, so that's going to do it for this tour. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Remember, keep growing, keep building, and always keep adventuring. And together, we're Farmington famous. We'll see you next time.